Hi, welcome to this episode of Punching Through, sponsored by Caf and Fingercheck. My name is Simone LeBlanc, and I'm the Chief People Officer for Caf. And I'm thrilled and excited to have a conversation with someone I've known for a really long time, Julie Fergerson, our CEO from MRC. Julie, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and represent the MRC. We're a global nonprofit membership association for payment and fraud professionals, and I can't wait to chat.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. You know, Julie, we've known each other for probably 10 plus years now. We worked together at a previous organization. And I think at that time there were, when I first started, there were few of us female leaders within the organization. And one of the things that I think we both strive to is to support and to foster and encourage and nurture young women coming up through the organization. And one of the things that I'd love to better understand from you is, as you kind of enter into these leadership kind of roles, was there a moment where you decided I want to be a leader within an organization or within my profession? Or was it a matter of you kind of lifted your head up one day and went, oh my goodness, I'm a leader within a company? How did you kind of find yourself within this journey?
I think throughout my whole career, I've always been driven to accomplish a goal, be it figuring out how technology works or fixing a really challenging problem in the industry. And on that journey to accomplishing that task, I ended up in leadership roles, kind of like you said, when I lifted my head up, I'm like, oh crap, how am I in charge again? But it's kind of been more of a necessary evil. And, along the way, bringing really, really smart, talented people along the journey with me has been really important, because I like to figure something out that's super hard and then hand it off to some really competent people so I can go do the next really, really hard thing.
I do remember that being a real wonderful skill of yours, your ability to sort of take some complex issues and really bring it down and then kind of hand it off. And then you were very easy and happy to move on to that next thing. I think the other thing, if I can make an observation, and it was probably one of the first times I saw you speak in a large crowd, our former organization was hosting an event in London. And I remember you standing up on the stage, and you were clearly viewed as the person who, was sort of the savant of the merchant space, right? And there was such a level of confidence that I know that you're super humble, and I can see by the look on your face. But what I love the most about you is you get up on the stage and I'm like, is she wearing Crocs? And our CEO go, oh yeah, no, that's Julie. She totally wears Crocs. And it was such a moment for me, because I'm like, that is a woman who has the level of confidence that just gets up there, take me as I am, and you just know your stuff. And I think that's such a powerful statement. Maybe tell me a little bit more, where do you think that comes from, and how do you sort of live that every day?
So what I would say is, in my world, clothes, hair, makeup, the skin on the outside, it's sort of irrelevant. It's a necessary thing. You need to take a shower every day and look nice and smell good, right? But after that, to me, it's all about the technology. And I think one of the things that's made me successful is I have an insane curiosity to really understand how things work. So when somebody's telling me about something super cool or new, I just keep asking questions till I understand it. And somewhere early on in my career, I stopped being afraid to ask questions and stopped being afraid that, oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm an idiot. And, even though I've been in this space a really long time, I was in a board meeting a couple months ago, and one of our members used a term I'd never heard. And I was like, whoa, wait, what does that mean? And half the room looked at me like, how can you not know that? And the other half was like, I was wondering the same thing, right? So just being fearless and not worrying about what people think is always, early on in my early 20s, I figured that out. And insane curiosity to ask a lot of questions really helps me be successful. And I always encourage people to ask lots and lots of questions.
I appreciate you sharing that example, Julie, because I think there's probably so many people at all levels in an organization where they're afraid to raise their hand and ask that question, because they think it's a stupid question, or they're going to think, gosh, if I ask that question, they're going to start questioning what I do or don't know in general. And I think that if I take anything away from this conversation, again, a lot of it I knew about you, that for me is such a powerful statement. Like, as a CEO in a board meeting, somebody uses a phrase and terminology and you're like, hey, what does that mean? That is really such a powerful statement. So I think curiosity is super key. And I love to use the phrase, to be brave, right? You've said fearless, it's brave. It's just, it's okay to put yourself out there. When you are coaching or counseling and you're thinking about helping others navigate through their career in an organization, are there some other elements or tidbits that you see yourself leaning into and often pulling from as those nuggets of help and information to help them propel their profession forward?
Yeah, so one of the things I always tell everybody is don't be afraid to ask for help. Human nature is people want to help people. So if you call somebody and start off the conversation, oh my gosh, I need to know how this works. I need some help. Can you help me? And think about how many times I've called you in the last couple of years with that exact phrase, right? But people want to help each other, and so go find those mentors, those coaches, those helpers within your organization, and don't be afraid to ask. And the other piece of advice around being fearless that I always tell my mentees, so to speak, is it was a hard thing for me to really believe, but it's really true. The more questions you ask, the smarter people think you are. And I still don't really understand it, but it is 100% true.
No, it's really great. And I think that you're right. It's that sort of that curiosity, that double clicking. And I think what it also does, it demonstrates that you're actually really listening, right? And individuals who are asking questions are typically waiting to listen and to learn. Individuals who are not asking questions are just, sort of pushing information. If you're talking, you're not listening. And again, you're not necessarily creating those relationships or creating the environment from a learnings as much as you can be. So I really love that. I think that's incredibly important. And I hadn't really thought about the more questions you ask, the smarter you appear. So I appreciate that. That's something to really sort of consider to think about. Is there anything that you wish that either organizations or businesses in general would consider doing differently or just doing more of in supporting, young women into leadership roles?
I think the biggest thing that companies can really do right now, and if I had a magic wand, right, to wave across the world, is I really wish we would not focus so much on men or so much on women, but really focus on business and learning, right? When I started my career, it's ironic, but I worked really hard to be viewed as that subject matter expert and respected. Now it was mostly men, but respected by my peers.
Mm-hmm.
And the pendulum swings from one side to the other. And I think that when we're having that conversation, rather than talking about the problems and challenges, it's creating awkward moments. And to be candid, men don't know how to act, women don't know how to act. And right now it feels kind of messy. And so, focusing back on what really matters. If we're in jobs, we're here to solve a problem and we're here to solve a business. I really wish that people would focus more on, what do I need to learn to do my job? What do I need to learn to get help? How can I be coached? And women should help women, absolutely, because we have a different set of challenges, right? I do believe in my network of women, between things we're not supposed to talk about, like menopause and child care and, the disaster in the PTA and all that, right? But those are real issues we face. So we need our support system. But in our job, it's really about, how do I become the best possible employee I can be?
No, I think that's great. I think that leaves us on a really great tone, Julie. Thank you ever so much for your time today and continuing being an inspiration in how you're leading people, how you're just being your true, authentic self. It's such a version of you that I love and adore, and you motivate many of us on a regular basis. So thank you ever so much. And for those who've tuned in, thank you very much. And I look forward to you joining us at our next episode of Punching Through.